All right, welcome to episode 4 of The Hallway. Me and Chris explore several things. So today's 7-Eleven, so make sure you get your free Slurpee. We talk about the gay culture, setting boundaries with people, and dab into a little bit of real estate. So thanks for walking down the hallway with us. Hope you enjoy. Hey, welcome to episode 4 of The Hallway. Chris, how are you this today, this afternoon, this evening, whatever time we are?
This fine day, I'm doing all right, man. I'm doing all right. And yourself?
Excellent. It's Sunday, 7-11, so July 11th. So today's 7-Eleven.
7-Eleven, let's go. Oh, is today the day you get the free Slurpees and all that?
Exactly.
All right, I know what I'm doing later.
Exactly. The thing, I remember that when I was a kid. Like, it was 7-Eleven, take it. Like, they wouldn't give you the full Slurpee cups, but they'd give you, like, the half Slurpee cups.
Yeah.
So, I got a 7-Eleven right, like, a mile down the road, so I'll probably, take a little walk over there.
Yeah, wait, no, don't they, like, let you, like, bring your own jug and just fill it up these days now?
What?
Yeah, bro, yeah. It might not be 7-Eleven. There might be another day, but I remember distinctly there's one of those gas station chains that lets you, like, bring your own jug and you can just endlessly fill it up.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I'm just imagining someone with, like, a 5-gallon bucket, like, going up to the machine and just...
That is exactly what happened. Oh my gosh. That's
what happened?
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
My
People
God.
were, like, on Instagram and stuff like that doing that. Oh, man.
Oh.
We got to test it.
That's hilarious. Just see what they do. I don't know, man. If I was a 7-Eleven employee, I'd be like, yo.
Whatever, man.
Be like, come on, man.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, I'd be like, okay, do I stop him? Or do I just, like, let it ride? Like, what do I do?
I don't get paid enough for that.
Yeah, that's above my pay grade.
Like, gas station workers. My brother used to work at a gas station, and it's just kind of, you just kind of hang out, bro. You just kind of hang out.
100%. I thought about working at a gas station one time. It was like I was in between, like, when I was younger, I was in between jobs, and I don't know, I'm kind of glad I didn't. I feel like, I don't know, working at I don't know, if you're a teenager or whatever,
okay,
but still, sometimes you get some interesting characters that come into gas stations.
Oh, yeah. My brother, he worked at one that was, like, at the corner of this really odd street, and you get all kinds of, like, crackheads rolling in, and just some weird folks, Yeah.
I have one not too far from my house, and I remember it. The police went over there. It was a Circle K, right? So I guess someone tried to rob it, and I was like, "Oh my gosh!"
Oh dang!
Yeah.
That's a thing too. Getting hold of
that is a thing.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. If I was working in an establishment and I was getting robbed, I'd be like, "Bro, take whatever you want. I don't need it. Like,
insurance,
here you
man.
go.
It's all good. It's insured.
Yeah. It's all good.
It's all good. I don't know. Have you
My
ever...
life is not worth $7.25 an hour. Yeah.
No, definitely not. Have you ever been in, like, a situation where someone's, like, holding up a place or, like, robbing and you were in the vicinity or something like that?
No, I've never been in a situation, but, like, I used to work at a company, like a sports company, Dick's Sporting Goods, and people would, like, try to steal all the time. And sometimes they were successful. Like, I remember people would, like, try to walk out with basketballs, and sometimes I just wouldn't see them. And yeah, I mean, what are you gonna do? Like, hey, man,
put that ball down.
No, but there was this one time. A big thing is credit card fraud. So I remember specifically, I was a cashier, and this guy wanted to buy, like, it was like 2 GoPros. So I'm like, okay, cool, whatever.
Oof.
Unlock the thing, get the GoPros, scan them, and everything. And then he went to put in his credit card. And then it said, like, oh, like, it was some guy. And then it was like, oh, like, Christina, whatever the heck. And I was just like, okay, maybe his wife or something like that. And as a cashier, like, you're actually supposed to check IDs usually. And then, like, I was just like, oh, yeah, whatever. I let him get it. And then they were like, oh, like, because it sucks. Because if they don't do that, then it actually falls back on the company. So I believe if I don't do my job, which, you should do it. But if they don't do that, like, they don't check the ID, then it falls back on the company, and the company has to pay for it if they, basically credit card fraud, it falls on the company who made the transaction.
Yeah, no, that's kind of crazy. The chargeback I've I worked with this one machine shop to work on my car, and I gave them some parts, and they were supposed to have it back to me within like a week or two. It took them like 3 months to get it back, and in the third month, I said, you know what? I'm gonna call a credit card company, and I'm gonna have them charge back because this is foolishness. And the second I said that is when they actually started working. From the time I said that, it took them a week to finish. And I was like, wow.
That's baloney, dude. That's baloney.
You could have done this in a week. And then they're like, oh no, I really don't want to deal with that. And like, he verified, you sure you didn't already like do it? You didn't take the money back? And I was like, yeah, no, I didn't. Just get it done. It was just a threat. I didn't even do it. Just a threat. Yeah. That's how you know, like, it's kind of serious.
Oh yeah, I'm sure that's a big deal. Like, that's a huge hassle.
Oh yeah.
And especially if he's like a small, it's not like a large corporation where they may have specific people. I mean, it's probably him or, whatever his partner is, and it's probably a huge deal. They got to pull out all these records. They got to do this. They got to do that. And yeah, huge hassle. And then at the end of the day, they do all that work and they still have to give the money back. Right? So it's...
Yeah. It's crazy, man. I actually, I lost my credit card last night or the night before. So... Yeah.
No. Did you cancel it already?
No, I got some charges on there, so I'm gonna give him a call a little later.
Okay.
But that boy's gone.
Oh man, that's tough. I think they make it pretty easy where you can like turn off the card and.
Oh yeah. It's not bad now. You can do it all through the app and all that. But I've been lazy. I want to see where this person goes.
Are you then? I mean, do you still have the credit card? I don't know, man. You want to see where you're selling?
Yeah. It's cool though. I mean, so I've kind of thought about this once. If I have a credit card, it's backed up, right? If something happens to me or it's not really my money, I can just say, hey, that wasn't me, And then I was wondering, like, if I have a homeless person, I'm just like, oh man, you look like you need some money. I'll just pay off my card, empty it out, and be like, hey bro, there's $10K worth of available money on here. Get whatever food and shit you need, and then I never saw you. You don't know me. And then just report it fraud.
Yeah, you could. I mean, you could. But then it's like, wouldn't that be like stealing though?
Yeah, it would. It 100% would. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, I mean, I guess in theory you could do that. I wouldn't tell him like there's $10K on there though. I'd be like, yo, there's like $100 on you.
Go wild.
This guy goes to Costco and is buying crab legs. And...
not the crab legs. But that would be interesting though. I mean, so like you said, the chargeback doesn't hit the bank. It hits the individual company. So it's just like, hey, just shop at these major retailers. Screw them over because they have too much money anyways. And then we'll help you out because you're obviously homeless. You're probably dealing with some financial issues. So steal from the rich, give to the poor.
You're a modern day Robin Hood. That's what you're.
Exactly. I'm just a facilitator.
Modern day Robin Hood. Yeah, I like it. Yo, so the 4th of July passed not too long ago. That was last weekend, right?
Yeah. It was cool. Tell me about your adventures, man.
My adventures, yeah. So I went to California, which is pretty cool. Newport Beach, which is just south of Los Angeles, so right on the beach. And it was dope, man. We hung out with my girlfriend's brother and his girlfriend and her roommate, and they let us stay there. And it was a really dope house, man, on the beach. They ended up throwing a party for the 4th of July. So, dude, we had maybe like 20 people, 30 people. But the thing is, like in Newport Beach, there's like a strip and it's just all these houses that are right next to each other and they're right on the beach. And for 4th of July, like everyone was getting crazy, bro. Like even we were getting crazy. Like the guys were putting like the girls on, like pushing them onto the roof, and like the girls are like dancing on the roof, like.
Oh my gosh!
And we're like, yo, wait, like. This is kind of a liability. Let's get them down.
Yeah.
Alcohol and people on the roof do not mix.
No. Oh, but it sounds cool though.
It does. It was a good time. No, but it was interesting. So I met a lot of people that were originally from California, and I met this one guy who was, I don't know if you've ever like experienced someone like this, but he was, and I mean, I think that I'm kind of like a lot Like me, if you meet me as a person and, you know, maybe you first meet me and I'm a lot. Like I'm very like
Big
engaging and I'm big personality. But this guy I felt like was big, like a big personality and also unaware. So like, what do I mean by that, right? It's like he would say things and do things where you're like, yo man, like what do you do? You know, I just met you. Like, what are you doing? Right? Like he would, like I remember like I was talking to him and something like that. We had our shirts off because we were in the sun or whatever. And he goes and he starts like pinching my stomach. And I'm just like, yo, like, what are you doing? Like I literally met you like today, like in your... And then he's like, no, man, like, I'm just messing around, like, whatever. And I'm like, okay, yeah, whatever. Yeah. And then later on, like, I don't know, he would just, like, touch, like, people. Like, he went behind someone, like, that he only met, like, 2 days before and was, like, a guy was, like, grabbing his chest and, like, hugging him and, like, all this stuff. And I'm like, bro, like, Jesus. Yeah. And I even talked to him about it. I took him aside because, I mean, he's a cool guy. Yeah. Like, he was a cool guy when you talk to him. It was just like, yo, man, like, when you do those things sometimes, you got to be careful because... You know, people don't always
not everyone's
appreciate
gonna respond
that.
The same,
Yeah. And I think that's really kind of, and dude, and when I told him that, whatever, and you know, I gave him feedback, and I was like, hey, I hope I'm not like too hard on you. I'm really just being honest with you and like open with you on my perspective. And he's like, no, you're good. And then he was like, no, man, like don't even worry about it. And then he leans in to kiss me. Like, on the lips. And I'm like, yo, like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, did you not just listen to anything I just said? Like, bro, come on.
All right. So, okay, my immediate thought is, this might be drug-induced.
Maybe.
Because...
I mean, there was some white powder floating around. So, I mean, hey, who knows, man? Who knows?
California.
No, but I think that's huge. And I think, like, so my point is with this is... I mean, I guess not a point, but a thought is like establishing boundaries with people. Mm-hmm. I think that, you know, we as people try to be like nice and like whatever, and we kind of like let people do things. Yeah. And I think that it sometimes it's hard, but like if you feel uncomfortable or you want to establish a boundary or you say like, hey, like this is okay, but this is not okay. And what you're doing is not okay. Like it's tough, but I think it's important in order to do that so people can, you know, I think respect you and like respect, you know, you personally. Yeah.
To understand the relationship, because sometimes you can kind of slide on that one. Like if I don't see you very often and I know you're a certain type of way, I'll just be like, okay. I'm not really hoping to build much of a relationship here. So you can go ahead and, you know, grab my belly for a few seconds or whatever. I'll never see you again. It's cool. And then other times it's okay, we're gonna be friends for a while. Maybe I work with you or something, and I see this attitude, and I'm just like I don't know about that one for me. So we gotta like you said, you gotta address it if you want to proceed further, or maybe just you're out on vacation maybe and you want to continue enjoying your vacation without that. You just like, hey man.
Yeah. And the thing is, I thought he was a cool guy, and that's why I was trying. Like when I was talking to him, it's not like I was saying it in front of everyone. I was like, hey man, like come to the side, like, hey, like when you do these things, like I know you may be joking, but the example that I use, it's like, oh, when you pinch me, it's like, okay, like, are you saying that, like, you know, and he's doing it in front of people, so it's like, okay, are you saying that, like, I'm chubby? Like, you know, that's how it can come off, and then people think you're an asshole now, and they don't want to talk to you because you do these little things, right?
Exactly.
So
no, that's why I like, when I start to meet someone new, you kind of just, like, you roll into it slowly. I mean, hey, shit, I might get into the, I'm going to grab your belly. I've never done that to you. I don't plan on it, hopefully. But, but, you know, you got to feel out the situation, and then you don't just dive that deep right from the jump. It's even like with girls, when you're talking to a girl for the first time, or, you know, breaking the physical barrier with a girl for the first time. I'll take my time. I'll give you one of those.
You're not just gonna like straight up grab her tit. You know what I mean? Like, you gotta wait for a second.
No way. No. I'm gonna hit you with the laughing like slap on the shoulder or whatever.
Or a high five or a fist bump, or, you know,
casual, low key.
That's actually really interesting, like physical escalation. And I think, you know, when you're talking to girls, physical, especially if you're trying to establish some sort of you know, sexual relationship, right? Whatever, if it may be, oh, you guys are just hooking up or you want to be your girlfriend, whatever. I think physical escalation is one of those things that guys kind of forget about and never like push and pursue. Or I think it's either two extremes. I think guys don't break that barrier, like you said, or they're going too far too soon.
Yeah.
The
medium
because
usually doesn't exist, not easily. You gotta
I agree.
work it. And like, I don't know, I usually hang back more. I'm the hang back type just because I want to make sure everyone's comfortable, because the second you're not, it's over.
I agree.
So and
I think it depends on the situation, right? Like if you meet a girl out or something like that, and you're like gaming her, and you guys are talking, and fist bump, high five, and like these little things.
Yeah.
In order to like make sure, this is just my experience, but in order to make sure that you're like establishing like, hey, like, we're not just friends. You need to like escalate physically. So it's like you start with these small things, like you're making jokes. You see if she's touching you, and then you kind of like make your touches more sexual, but it's not like like I said, you're not like grabbing her tit or whatever. No. But like a small touch like on her back, or like and you're not, your hand isn't there forever. No. You're just kind of like, oh yeah, okay,
real
whatever,
quick,
and then
real light, just a quick little thing, and it's all about reading the feedback from it too, because especially the first few ones, you want to you lay it down. And then you watch the response. If the conversation's still flowing, we're still continuing what we're doing, and there's no obvious like,
pull back,
you touched me, or like straighten back, like looking weird. Like you got to read the signs, because
definitely
the whole thing, everything's a transaction, right? So I'll give a little bit, and then I'll review what happens when I give a little bit, and it's like it's an escalation. So I'm gonna escalate a little bit, make sure that's okay. And then wait for something back, or there's a time frame in between hitting the next level, but you give and you take and you give and you take.
That's right.
Until you get to a point where you want to be, or where she wants to be, and then it's whatever it is from there. We're either on the same page or not.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
I love it.
I've been
we got to read. What was that?
I've been on all sides of that one.
And I think every guy has I think it's one of those things like you don't know unless you like experiment and you do it.
Oh yeah.
Like you have to like go and
try
do it.
Yeah.
Like and it's funny, like guys are like, oh, like talking to girls is hard or whatever, and it's like, okay, well, how many girls have you talked to in the past month? 2. And it's like, okay, well,
yeah,
it's like you want to get good at basketball, okay, like if you play once a month, you're probably not going to get good at basketball.
No,
right?
But you gotta be out there. You gotta be out there, and that's a big thing. For a long time, I wasn't a trier. I was just I'm gonna hang back and like, oh man, she's cute, and then just say it in my head or say it to a buddy, and then nothing ever happens. And it's like, you gotta have some courage to make something happen, or at least attempt, or just you don't even have to say hi. Sometimes just a physical, an eye cue or something. Just be like, hey, okay, I recognized you. We recognize each other, and then hey, that's a start to something else. Maybe not, but starting.
So I read this book. I think I told you about it. And for people out there that are interested, it's the pickup community. It's it's a whole thing where you go and pick up girls, and some people hate it, some people love it. I think it has its goods and its bads. But in one of the books called The Mystery Method, he says there's like a 2-second rule. So based on your scenario, if you see a girl's cute and you guys make eye contact, and like the eye contact that you make is like, when you like make eye contact with someone and you're like, okay, cool. Like when that happens, he calls it the 2-second rule. You immediately need to go up and talk to her without hesitation. Because what that shows, if you think about this for a second, right? Okay. What that shows, if you make eye contact with her and you're not immediately like going to like go talk to her or whatever, and you're hesitant, like she gave you the signal, like that was a signal that she's giving you for you to go talk to her. Okay. And if you don't do that, then that shows, like you were talking about earlier, that shows that you don't have the courage to go talk to her. And if you don't have the courage to go even talk to her, right? Either one, you're not interested, or two, you might not be interested, and that's fine. Or two, like you just, is she going to want to be with a guy like that doesn't have the courage to go even talk to her, right? So it's,
I think it depends too, because I've been in a situation where the eyes have been passed and exchanged, but like I'm with a group of friends, and she's obviously with a group of friends, so the eyes will regularly shift over, and I'll be like, oh, and then we'll exchange that for like 10-20 minutes because we're like in our groups of friends. But then,
okay.
Maybe the group of friends will go off, or she'll go get a drink, or I'll go get a drink, and it's just like, okay, I want to move in here now, and okay, the signal's been made, but I was waiting for a second for myself. I mean, and sometimes it doesn't happen. Sometimes it doesn't happen. Yeah, but
so you're saying you were in this is interesting. Let's break this down. So you were with a group of friends, and she was with a group of friends, and you guys made eye contact. You said over a 10 or 20 minute. So were you guys sitting? Where were you? Were you guys sitting down? Were you guys at the club? Like, what was? What was the?
She was at the bar, and I was sitting down at a table with some friends.
Okay.
So
the dynamic wasn't like fluid. Like people weren't just like walking around and
not the club. We're all moving. And, no. It was like we were in separate parties. Like obviously in separate parties, and the contact is there, and the contact happened multiple times. So like. It was something like, okay, she definitely noticed me, and I definitely noticed her, and
you guys noticed each other noticing each other.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's a key part too, because sometimes eye contact it's nothing. Sometimes it's like a quick look, and no, it didn't actually mean anything. There was no acknowledgement in your eyes. It was just I was scanning the room and I accidentally hit your eyes. My bad.
So she was at the bar with a group of friends. You're sitting at a table, and you saw that she like separated to go, and then that's when you got up and you went and you talked to her.
And then I made a smooth move. I was like, okay, she's hitting the bar. I'll go ahead and just hit the bar some time.
Perfect.
Initiated conversation. Boom. And that right there is when the eyes, like the 2-second rule, I think it didn't work in that scenario, but everything's different. Everything's different. So,
of course, yeah. Each situation like is unique in itself. Yeah. And I think like what's important too, with at least from my experience as well, is getting her friends on your side.
Oh yeah. I 100% believe that. The reason why I didn't approach, because I was also doing my own thing with my friends, and I wasn't entirely just trying to but I've been in the situation also where there's a group of people and I'm with a group of people, but it's more party scene, more club scene. And then
fluid. Things are a little more fluid.
Things are fluid enough that I can just walk up to a random group of strangers and I can make friends with all of your friends, and then I could pinpoint you and say, while I'm talking to your friends, I make enough contact with you, either physically or visually, so that you understand that like I'm here talking with your friends, but I've kind of got an eye for you. So and if it's responded to, if it's picked up on, then. Okay, I stopped talking to the group of friends, or we're still all hanging, but I kind of shimmy in that general direction and open a side convo and go from there.
Perfect. Yeah, that's actually backfired on me before.
Oh,
and the reason why I say
plenty of times, plenty of times. Oh my gosh, you know how many times she has a boyfriend?
Oh god.
Boyfriend.
And that's what I think is cool. That's what I think is cool. Like if you open up the group, you can almost figure like. They call it like opening sets, right? So you're opening sets of women, like 2s, 3s, 4s, whatever it may be. A group of people, like you can open up men as well.
Yeah.
And when you open up the set, you can figure out the relationship dynamic that exists by opening up everyone.
Yeah.
Instead of like, oh, well, I want to talk to her, but then like, okay, her boyfriend's here, or maybe they're friends with benefits, or maybe, some other dynamics going on.
Yeah.
And then you can kind of, figure it out.
It happened to me
and what happens is, oh yeah?
Yeah. I was just chilling at the bar, my usual spot, and this guy, his girlfriend, or something, I didn't know the dynamic at the time. It's 2 guys, 2 girls, and then this one girl. And I was like, okay, so let's figure this out. There's 2 guys. I don't know who's obviously with who, but one of them must be, right? So I roll in and break up the group and say, hey, okay, everybody, let's do shots. Everybody want to do some shots. Break up the group. We all have a good time.
Classic shots.
Classic shots. You just open it up, bro. Opens it up.
Yeah.
And then we're chilling, and you start to feel out who does the side convos with who. And then you're just like, okay, you guys seem closer together than these two, and you don't seem close with that person. And you kind of learn it. You learn it. And then you decide what you want to do from there.
Definitely. No, man, I've done it where I've opened sets, and I think two things where they backfire. One, the guys are, like, if there's guys in the set, they aren't receptive to me.
Yeah.
So they are, like, resistant.
Mm-hmm.
And then that can, kind of be like a deal breaker, right? Because if they're in a group and their group of guys is, like, resistant to you, then you're like, okay. That's why it's almost like when I open a set with guys, I try to, I show that, like, hey, I want to talk to you guys. Like, I want to talk to the men.
Yeah.
Right? So I open up the men, right? Mm-hmm. And I'm like, yo, like, we're cool. Like, talk about whatever. Boom.
Yeah.
And then you can kind of, like, once you've infiltrated it with them, the girls aren't going to leave the guys that they're with.
No.
So then you can kind of open up the whole set.
Yep.
Where it's but then, which,
avenue.
Yeah. And then sometimes there's gay guys, right, that are in the set.
Yeah.
And at least what I said earlier, I always try to open up the guys. So, and sometimes I guess, maybe I come off, I don't know, dude, maybe I don't think I come off as gay, but sometimes maybe the fact that I'm enthusiastic, maybe that can be, but dude, every single time, like, gay guys love me, bro. I will open up the gay guys, and then the girls are like, oh, yeah, okay, this guy's gay, and he wants to talk to this other gay guy. Like, great. And I'm just like, no, like,
not the
I just want this gay guy
scenario.
to think I'm cool, and then, I'm going to talk to you guys, man.
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh.
I've fallen into that one or twice. It's just like, I'll come hang. I'm cool. I have nothing, like, we can hang, but hey, man, I'm not here for that. You're cool and all. You're probably a pretty cool guy because you were able to accept me into the circle for a second, and we can kind of chill and vibe, obviously. So you're probably a cool person, but I don't swing that way.
Yeah, it's just, I'm not interested, like, in other men, like, sexually. Right?
Yeah, when we were at the festival the other day, that one guy was gay, and he was like, so what are you about? And I was like, what do you mean, what am I about?
Which guy?
He was from, like, Fort Lauderdale. He had a shirt off. He had a Texas tattoo on his back.
Oh, that's right, with the taller guy who was from like New Zealand or something.
Yeah.
Okay.
The shorter guy, he was like, yeah, bro, I love your energy. And I was like, yeah, we're cool. We're hanging out. We're all hanging out, listening to music and drinking or whatever, having a good time. I mean, and, it's a festival, so everybody's a little touchy-feely with everyone. And, and he's just like, so what are you about? And I was like, what do you mean, what am I about? And then that went down you gay? And I was just like, no, not really, no. But we can still hang out.
And what was his response?
What was
his response?
Oh, okay. Just kind of like, brush it off, and we continued to have a good time. I mean, he hung with us for a long time.
Yeah, they did. They did.
It was fun.
Yeah, they were fun.
That's the attitude you kind of, have to go down with that. Just, we're all hanging out. It's all good. We don't have to, the tension of
and just because you're gay doesn't mean, like, and I'm not gay doesn't mean, like, we can't, exactly, doesn't mean we can't hang out.
Exactly. Exactly. Unless you're just on the hunt, and, if you're on the hunt, then, and I'm not something you're looking for, then, hey, keep hunting elsewhere. That's all you.
Yeah?
Yeah. Guys do the same with girls. It's, hey, you're taking or whatever, or you're not down with me? All right, I'm on the hunt tonight. Sorry, I'm not looking for you. I'll see you later. Or not.
Let's see. Dude, in the gay culture, at least the culture that I've seen, like, I go, and maybe this is only, my personal experiences, but whenever I, like, talk to a gay guy and he thinks that I might be gay, they seem pretty forward.
Yeah.
Like, from the most part. It's very, like, forward, like, hey, let's hang out. Or, like, let's, they're very, like, interested in, like, escalating. Yeah. And I even do, because, me and my dad do, like, pest control. We did pest control at this gay bar that's in Ivanhoe Village over there. And, dude, you walk into the bar, and it's like, to the right, there's, like, a bowl of condoms. There's a vending machine in the back that's, like, dick enhancer and, like, all this stuff. And I'm just like, wow, like, this is...
Sexuality
wow,
is
very
open.
forward. Yeah, it's very open. And that's it's cool. I mean, that they're able to do that and have that, you know, open culture like that. Because I guess when especially I would just say men, like, we're more sexually forward than women.
Yeah.
So maybe, like, if it's gay men and we're, you know, very forward sexually, then it's like, hey, we're both forward, right?
All right,
there you
let's
go.
get her done.
Yeah, let's do it. Yeah.
No, I definitely see that from the culture that I've seen. It's all right. We're both here for the same thing. Come on, guys. I mean, hey, I might be looking for love too, but I'm also looking for this majority of the time. So hey, every gay guy that I've ever encountered that has had interest in me, it's been direct. It's been like you're saying. It's just, I know what I want. Do you want the same thing? No bullshit. No bullshit.
Yeah. Hey.
Honestly,
if life was like that, like with girls, I would be. I don't know, man. I don't know. I've had experiences with women where if she's, and maybe this is just my own psyche, but if she's too forward with me, then if she's too forward with me, I kind of get turned off a little bit. Like,
how soon?
And that's, I would say,
like, how forward is too forward for you?
Yeah, that's a good question. Like, I guess for me, I'm not a huge fan of, like, PDA. Like I don't mind, you know, if I meet a girl and, like, we make out in the club, it's like, okay, like, you know, I'll make out with you 10, 15 seconds. Cool. Awesome.
Okay.
But I'm not going to sit there and, like, you know, make out with you and, like, I don't want you, like, grabbing my dick, like, you know, like, I don't know. I just, and I think what you said earlier, like, too soon. Like, if I haven't had the opportunity to, like, talk to you and, like, you know, maybe even, like, game you a little bit.
Yeah.
It's almost like at least for me, it's almost like I feel like I didn't work for it, and, like, and it's like, oh, you want it. It's almost like you want it too much. So it's like, okay, it's like, there's something else going on here, you know? Because I almost think of it this way. It's like, if you like, want me that bad, it's almost like, are you even worth, like, pursuing? You know what I mean? It's like, it's, and it's hard, and, you know, maybe I'm not describing it correctly, but when I think of it like money. Like, when you earn money, you treat that money a lot more like, it almost has a lot more value to you.
It does.
If you like earn something, whereas if you're just given something, like, if I work hard to, you know, save up $10,000, like, yeah, I worked hard, like, this is my $10,000. Yeah. And if, like, you're just given $10,000, yes, they have the same value. Yes, you know, you can spend the same amount of things, but I think your feeling towards those two things would be different. And I think that's how I feel, like, if a girl's too forward. It's almost like, okay, like, you know, and if she does want it, and again, this is me personally. Yeah. If she does want it, I would rather her be a little more subtle. You know what I mean? Like, okay, you know, where she's kind of giving me signals, and it's like, I have to, like, pick up on that, and I have to, you know, and it's almost like a leading thing. I almost want to be the leader, and if you're, like, leading, like, too much, it's kind of like, whoa, like, you know, I don't know if So that's my 2 cents on that.
I get that.
What do you think? Yeah,
I think that kind of stems from, like, our need to play the game a little bit. And the need to, like you said, be led, but also lead. So you want to play the game in the sense of, I want to continue to read you and see what's going on so I can see what's going on. And then I could guide the conversation, or I can push it this way or push it that way.
Control in a way. Yeah.
Exactly. And I think a lot of guys feel the same, but me, myself, I'm actually on the other side of that one.
Yeah.
If a girl comes up to me and says, hey, me, you, right now, I mean, for me, it's right as rain. It's clear as day. I don't know. I gotta, like, it also depends on the timing too. So if I just met you and, I don't know, say we shared one drink, cool, and we're just chilling. Say the atmosphere is not a club environment. We're just
like a bar, like, chill.
We're at a chill bar. We're at one drink, and it's just like, oh, hey, yeah, you, me, let's do it. Take me home. And it's like, oh, that's a little too soon. Yeah,
and it's like, if she said it like that, I'd kind of be like, whoa. But if she was kind of like, hey, like, I guess it's the way. It's not like what you're saying, but it's how you're saying it.
Yeah.
If she's like, if she's like forceful, that would turn me off. But if she's kind of like, hey, like, you know, I think you're, you know, really cute, and you know, I don't know. It's like the way that she would kind of like, you know, gives it. Yeah. I would kind of be like, oh, okay.
How are you proposing?
You know. Yeah. But if she's like out here, like, like grabbing my dick
aggressively,
like,
jump for a second. You're not used to that.
Yeah.
But honestly, I think I've had the other approach where it's just like we'll have a drink and we'll hang out all night, like me and you were talking the whole night long, and then at the end of the night, it's like, okay, the cues are obvious. All right, let's go ahead and make it happen. But then I've also been in the scenario where, okay, it's, I don't know, 11:30, things are starting to wrap up, and you just come in and it's just like, you just got here, and maybe I just got here, and we just met each other, but it's already really late. Then I think the timeline starts to escalate a little bit, so things, of course, get a little bit more. It's a little faster, but we work to the same thing, and we still have a little bit of play in there, and it's okay. But then there was one time where I did it, and it was 12:30, and I'm just chilling. I'm here. I've already been passed up like 4 times, and I'm just like, all right, it's getting late. It's time to.
I spent enough money. I'm out of here.
Yeah. I spent enough money. It's either time to start just throwing them out there, being direct, keeping it real, or go home. You know. So I'm just like, hey, okay, and I started throwing it out there hard. I went for it, and I said, hey, you, talking for 2 seconds. All right, not 2 seconds, maybe like 2 minutes. We have a brief conversation.
2 seconds. You want to fuck?
Yes, no. What do you need?
Who wants to fuck?
Come find me.
2 seconds.
2 seconds.
Yeah, anyway.
But like, I'm 2 minutes in, right? We'll have a conversation. We exchange names and a little bit of talk of where you're from or whatever. Cool. And then we'll have a brief moment in there where maybe the conversation just slows down or stops for a second, and if the language is there just in those 2 minutes, and I'll do the lean in, I go for the ear and I whisper and be like, hey, let's be real here. It's getting late. What you about?
How many times has that worked? How many times has that worked for you?
It has only worked twice. Twice.
Out of how many would you say?
I say that I've probably thrown it maybe 6 times.
Okay, that's fair. That's a fair.
It's not bad.
That's a fair score. That's 33%, right?
If you keep it real, some people are just as motivated as I am, but they're not going to be as bold. But you know what? It's late enough. I've had enough to drink, and I don't want to go home.
Alone.
Right? Alone. Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, okay. My thing is, I don't like bringing girls back to my place. Not just yet. So I'm a, hey, take me home with you.
Yeah. And they're more comfortable at their place if you think about it.
Yeah. And if they see that I'm kind of okay and not like an axe murderer or something, he's like, okay, yeah. Like,
speaking of your own place, you're getting a house soon.
Yes, sir. It is happening. It's in the
That is
works.
So exciting, man. That is so exciting. So as a first time home buyer, like talk about like the process. So like how are you feeling? Like what happened?
Stress. So this 2021 market, this post-COVID or almost post-COVID market has been insane for home buying. All of real estate has been crazy. I've been struggling to find a property. I've been struggling to get an offer accepted on a property. And when it finally happened, things were moving so fast. It's just like, stress, anxiety. Like,
I need this document. I need that document. You have to do the inspection. What's it? What's the result of the inspection?
I was 1 minute I was submitting an offer. Next minute it's okay. We're doing here. All right, drop the first check. Drop that. And for me, it was, I don't know, what was it? The inspection. The night before the inspection, I was laid up all night, man. I couldn't sleep. I was like, all right. I went to bed early. I went to bed at like probably 3 a.m. and then I woke up super early too. So I went to work at like 6, and I was just like, inspection day. Then it came, and then the day after, I didn't get the report right away. So the night after that, I was up all night too, and just the stress.
Oh, what is the inspection say?
I was just like, and it's an older house too, so it was all just like, I know there's gonna be something. There's gonna be something, and it's gonna kill me or kill them. And now, like, I just got over the appraisal hump, so. Before the appraisal came in, it's like, oh man, do I have to scrape up X amount of more dollars to like cover this purchase? And in my contract, I said I'd pay X amount more, and it's just like, oh gosh, and it was straining on my soul to like have to deal with this in such a small period of time too. Like, I'm closing in 10 days. In 10 days, I will be done, and I started this process. I want to say I started, I don't know, 20 days ago?
They're moving.
Less than 20 days ago? So I saw the house for the first time less than 20 days ago. And I will be in that house in 10 days.
Holy shit.
Like, come on, man.
Dude, that's the real estate, man. It hits hard, it's fast. And especially if you've never done it before, it's a lot.
Well, what about yours? How was your experience, like, getting your
My
place?
experience was very similar.
Really?
So yeah, when I got my duplex, it was the offer got accepted, and I was just like, oh shit. And then I was like, what do I have to do now?
Gotta go find the money. Oh gosh.
Yeah, exactly, man. So they're like, okay, you need this amount of money to the title company. You need to schedule an inspection here. The inspection needs to be done by this time. You need to send in all of your documents, all of your statements, all of the assets that you have. You need to put all this money in escrow, blah, 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 blah. And it's like bam, 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 bam. And then it really becomes real. It becomes real.
Yes.
And
very real.
Yeah. And
so yours was all fast too? Even like when you purchased yours, it was pre-COVID.
Yes, it was February. We closed February of 2020. So it was right before COVID hit.
Man. Yeah.
So it was still like that. And the real estate market was pretty hot then too. And it got even hotter after COVID.
Yeah.
So it was very similar, but it's scary. Honestly, it's scary because if you think about it, you're taking on, I mean, everyone complains about student loans and all this shit. Like, no way, man. A mortgage is like, you're signing up for a 30-year contract that you're going to pay this amount of money for 30 years, which is the majority of your which is a good chunk of your life, you know?
How many people actually see the end of that 30-year mortgage?
I don't know. But you know what? I'm going to see the end of all of my mortgages. I'll tell you that.
Oh, yeah. Hopefully it's not 30 years, though. But I plan on it, too.
I'm paying extra every month, actually.
Hey, there you
I'm
go.
paying... Because my duplex, I actually had to get 2 mortgages. So the way that my duplex worked is that it was actually separated. So they had 2 different tax IDs. So they were technically 2 different addresses, 2 different homes, whatever.
2 properties.
So I had to get 2 mortgages. So I've been paying like extra on both mortgages like every month.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
So with that, did you have like these 2 separate mortgages? I've seen mortgage packages for a single home where you can do 2 mortgages. My dad was telling me about this thing called an 80-20. So you can get your PMI lump sum, the 20%, into a separate mortgage from your 80%, which is your base mortgage. So you only pay the PMI at a higher rate. You can pay it all off in this 20%, and you pay both mortgages at the same time. But the second you're done killing this smaller mortgage, which is 20% of the whole loan, then you have no PMI and you're good to go. You just pay the 80%. They call it 80-20.
I have not looked into that. I would have to look into it. I have no idea.
Yeah.
Have you thought about, looking into that for yours? To me personally, that sounds like kind of complicated. So I'm like, I like to keep things simple, right? Like, okay,
It was pretty complex, and not every lender does it. But if you have the cash flow and the flow of cash is there, but say you don't have the bulk to get rid of the PMI right off the bat, or to do that 20% down, but you really want to get rid of it so you can lower your payment, that apparently is a very effective method if you have the cash flow. getting the two
Okay.
mortgages. So
I'll have to look into that. I think what I'm banking on is the appreciation that the appreciation that I forced into the house, because you saw it before where it is now. I mean, it's completely redid it. I think it looks,
oh yeah,
a million times better.
Oh yeah.
And then 2, the appreciation that we've seen on the market over the last 2 years.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So I'm banking on those 2 things. So with PMI, like if you decide to do that, cool. But if you decide to just pay it off, and because I know you're going to do a lot of remodeling in your house too, if you decide to just do the regular method, let's say like I'm doing it, then what you have, the fastest way to get your PMI off, the soonest you can get your PMI off is after you've made 2 years worth of payments successfully. So you've made 2 years worth of payments. And then that's when your lender will say, okay, you can do it's like a reappraisal, and they'll see how much it's worth. And then if it appraises, and you've paid off enough and it increases enough, then you could potentially be within that threshold where you're below the 20%. And then
Okay. So you're kind of meeting you in the middle there, because usually it's you pay up to the 20%, but if you pay up and the property value is higher, then your overall equity is technically now at that 20% or above.
Exactly. And then you could, get out of your PMI.
That makes sense.
So that's what I'm hoping to do. That'll come up, I think, in like March of next year. So, I mean, let's see what happens with this market. Anything can happen.
Yeah.
I mean, if I don't get my PMI off, it's not going to, it's not going to break the bank, but it'd be nice, because I think this mortgage is I think both mortgages, it's like $40, so it's $80 total. So, extra. It's not significant, but hey, it's, if I just get that off and then roll that additionally into the principal, it's just even faster and faster and faster. Yeah.
Exactly. And I mean, that's about around what my estimated was for my one. So your 2 split.
$40? Okay.
Yeah.
Or $80.
Yeah, it was like 90. 90 was the estimate I wanted. But so I mean, it's definitely worth it to get rid of it. But
for sure. I mean, it's not going towards anything if you think about it.
No, it's not. It's just straight to their pocket.
That's literally I think the reason why PMI was made, and don't quote me, I'd have to look it up, but I think the reason why PMI was made was because of the 2007, 2008 financial crisis, when the housing market tanked. This private mortgage insurance makes sure that you're basically the bank is insured in case you come out on your mortgage. They have it's some insurance plan where they can still get reimbursed, or it's something like that. But I'm pretty sure it was because of the financial crisis. So
it definitely makes sense. Another thing I was looking into are these Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac government style loans. So my loan, I think my lender is just a normal lender, and we're doing a standard conventional 30-year mortgage, right? But a lot of these companies now, they're not actually big banks. They're little guys that just have some cash for a minute. But what they can do is they can actually sell the note or the loan to the government in a mortgage-backed security called a Fannie Mae or Freddie Mac. They're just 2 different standards for it. So the government will buy the loan from you, so then the loan is really being paid to the government. So companies can work with a lot lower overhead because they don't have to do a lot of the management and things like that. So my loan, the second it's processed through my bank, it's actually going to be sold right away. So they lose the overhead costs for managing the loan, all of that overhead. So they can actually make the loan cheaper for me. And they sell it off right away, and the government has it, and then the government issues it back to other banks in mortgage-backed securities. I thought that was really interesting to understand, because my lender was like, let's just go ahead and check to see if you're approved by Freddie Mac or Fannie Mae. And I was like, what are those? What are those going to do for me? Am I loaning with them, or are they loaning me money, or what's the deal? And he said, well, we're going to sell your note right away. Lose the management. So all they really pay for is the underwriting and the really quick just getting you all together. That's the whole origination fee, all of that stuff. And it makes the company really lean, because you have to have the $400,000-$500,000 for your house. The lender, you only have to have it for 10 minutes, and then you sell the loan and you get that all back. and we can just keep doing that and making money off of the money that we have for 10 minutes. I'm just like, how do I get into that business? Like, can I just slap down $1 million and say, hey, sell that $1 million, buy it back, just keep doing that?
People get into notes like that.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know the specifics, but you can, as an individual, get into like buying mortgage notes and like selling them, and like you can even buy different portions of the mortgage. Like you can sell, like you can buy a mortgage, for, I don't know the specifics, but you can basically like buy the mortgage note and then sell portions of the mortgage note to someone else. And then they'll be collecting all the interest, and then you can kind of get different portions of it.
Yeah.
Right. So it's
very interesting. It's quite a
mortgage
web.
note. It's
like,
yeah.
You can buy securities from the government, and then you buy mortgage-backed securities from the government, which are the ones that are backed up by my mortgage. And it's kind of crazy how all of this money is fake. It's all fictitious. It's sitting somewhere in some computer. It doesn't actually exist, which is...
It's all zeros and ones.
Yeah. Like it's fiat currency is what they call it. And it's astounding to think that, like, hey, man, can we just go back to, like, what was it, 2001, where we just start automatically rounding up some zeros here and there and make this fake funny money show up in my account?
Man, that's why I think like physical assets are just the way to go, because this whole fiat currency thing, man, like if holding cash, I think is important if you're looking to make an investment in something. But at the end of the day, your cash is always, obviously you should have some cash for emergency purposes. Yeah. But I think cash at the end of the day, man, is just losing value. And like you said, it's fiat, it's fake. Like, money is fake. We all just agree that it's, has value, and that's why it has value. But money in general is, the government says it's,
it's worth this.
We use it, so we use it. Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Until the people.
And that's why it's like you need to roll your money into assets, man. Like always be buying assets, and that's why I think stocks, bonds, real estate. Like,
the property is real. It is physical, but the stock market, hey man, it's not actually yours. My boss told me the other day, he's like, "Oh man, Samsung went down 3 points. We lost money." He's like, "No, you didn't. You didn't sell. Nothing happens yet. Nothing happened. Literally nothing really happened to your money. It's still the same amount of money in there. It's just until you pull it out, it's worth the exact same."
Yeah. And even the gains, right? The gains are you can have gains, but if they're unrealized, then they don't exist. I mean, you're on paper it says you're worth this much, but you're technically not. Right?
Unrealized. That's what happened to me. So I was submitting my documents to the bank saying, yes, I have this amount of money, and I had a large sum of it in my investment portfolio. And they were like, okay, this is great, but now you need to liquidate this. And I was like, yeah, I know. If you're going to use this for the sale, you need to liquidate it. And I was like, all right, that makes sense. But I'm going to wait till the very last minute because my shares were doing very, very well. And then I was able to cue it out the right time, so I still made decent profit on everything that I sold, and it just, all of it was funny money to them and to me, which makes sense. It doesn't really exist until it's liquid.
Yep.
But even then,
liquid is like,
it's sitting on a CD in a bank somewhere. Like, what's going on here?
Freaking hyperinflation will eat that shit up in a minute. Like, could you imagine? What was it in Germany? I forget. I think it was after the World War or something like that.
Yeah.
Like they just had like bricks of money that they would burn.
Barrels.
They would burn the money. They would burn the money in order to use it as a heat source because it was that worthless.
It's cheaper than buying wood. Yeah. There was this one picture I saw in it was like economics class or something like that, where you had these like 3 little kids. It was like a comic sketch or something, a really, really old one. After the war, they said the mom sent the kids to get bread or something or milk from the store, and there's like, okay, you go in the backyard, scoop up some money in a wheelbarrow, and take the wheelbarrow down to the store to get a loaf of bread.
freaking ridiculous.
At that point, it's just like, all right, guys, come on. But you can't say, like, how do you correct that without totally destroying everything? Because I have $10 million in my backyard, but it's worth absolutely nothing. How do you hit the reset on that? You can't just say, sorry, it's not all worth that anymore.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure we could look up how they reset their system because they're doing okay now, but I mean, it would have to be, you'd have to restructure everything. I mean, potentially even abandon the currency itself. Yeah. I don't know exactly which currency. I mean, it definitely wasn't the euro, but maybe they abandoned that and adopted the euro.
Maybe.
Yeah.
That allowed them to translate over or something. You know, you bring your 10 billion in your backyard and you convert it now into X, which is more stable.
Mm-hmm.
Currency trading is another thing too that a lot of people are getting into.
They're getting into it, but it's like you got to be. Man, I don't know if I would do it. I mean, it's.
You got to watch it. It's tight.
Yeah, but can't you set up a program to do that for you? Shouldn't you be able to?
So you could. There's a lot of very interesting things about that. I was doing some research with my buddy on how we could programmatically buy and sell stocks based off of a few of the simple principles with like the rate of change over time and very simple analysis of historical trending when it comes to bigger companies like Amazon and Apple with a lot of like history in the market. So we analyzed the volatility rate over a period of time and the change year by year, the change month by month. And then we wrote a very simplistic program that allowed us to kind of decide whether to buy or sell based off of the current price. And it also took into account, this years of history. And we ran a simulation just, with historic data. And we let the program run. And we inserted ourselves at, like, 2010. We said, okay, data, pretend we're in 2010. And pretend in 2010 I put $10,000 on this stock. And then program, emulate where I would be today. And it made some money.
Yeah.
In most scenarios where we had a stock that has grown, of course, obviously, we made a decent bit of money. Like, I'm talking about 30% return. And that is
year over year.
Yeah, year over year. 30% return. And even with stocks that were failing historically and are still failing, the program still allowed us to make a decent bit of money. But there are a few anomalies that lost us like $10 billion. So like we didn't, I know there was some finicky little things in there, just like, okay. So we never went all the way with it, but it was interesting to try to understand what the market would do today based off of history and things like that. And you could try to set it up programmatically, but you throw something like a world war into the mix and the program's not going to know
COVID-19 into the mix.
COVID, yeah, it's just going to be like, what is all this? No.
Yeah.
So
I guess the way that I would think about it is a little bit simpler. I would almost just have thresholds, right? So like a lower bound and an upper bound. And the lower bound threshold, you would say that's your buy point, and the upper bound threshold, you would say that's your sell point. So, and these would be all relative to the current price, in addition to the amount of time where it takes place. So, as an example, if a stock is trading, at $100 a share, and this is a company that you believe in, that you like, that you've selected, that you're monitoring.
Yeah.
And if you see that this company like falls, this is where you see this threshold. So if you see this company falls below, let's say 30% or 20 or 30% over, let's say, a month's time, then that's your buy decision, right? So you're like, okay, we're going to buy. And as, maybe you can say as it continues to go down, we're going to buy more because we believe in this company, whatever it may be. And then, at some point, right, you stop buying whatever, however much you want to buy. And then you have a sell threshold to say, okay, well, if this stock somehow shoots up like crazy, like over the next 2 weeks or whatever time frame that you say, it jumps by 30% or more, that's my sell point. Because when in history has a stock realistically within a week or 2 week period jumped 30%, 40%, where it didn't come back down.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And then so your buy and your hold would go over that again. So it would say, okay, now that it surpasses 100 to 130% over 2 weeks, it's like, whoa, this is a fluke. Let's sell. Yeah. And it's like, okay, it's at 130, and then it goes back down to like 90, right? You're like, okay, like it went down past my threshold, so I'm going to buy now, right? So you're kind of like, if utilization of thresholds, to help you, to buy and sell decisions.
I kind of do that, just not as complex, but if like the other day when I was planning to liquidate everything, what I did is I put in a sell order. I put in a sell order at the dollar amount that I was willing to release, and I said, okay, this sell order, it's good for 60 days. So you have 60 days for the stock to hit this price, and once it does, go ahead and just sell everything off. Call it good. And then the same thing when I was getting into this company XYZ, I said, okay, buy order. 60 days. You have 60 days to hit this limit. If you hit this limit, great. Go ahead and buy X. Go ahead and buy. But the thing is, with the program I use, you can't like set up the thresholds and monitor the volatility at the same time. You kind of have to do it yourself. But that's what I was trying to achieve with this other program we were building, to just know how volatile the company's been in the past, to understand our buy and sell thresholds, basically.
Yeah.
But
good luck.
Yeah, we'll see. I think you can do it. Someone will do it. Someone probably has done it.
I feel like someone has already tried. Yeah.
Goldman Sachs. One of them companies figured it out. We're just messing around.
Probably. Oh man, that's awesome.
The money, man.
Love it. So you played sports back in the day, right? I think I remember talking about you did wrestling.
Oh yeah. The good old days.
How did you get into wrestling?
Man, how did I get into it?
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. I think it was my sophomore year in high school. And I think my brother started doing it. No, we started doing it at the same time, but I don't remember what pushed us into it, but it was cool. Oh, because we wanted to do football. But with my religion, football's always on Saturday nights. I was always at church on Saturday nights, so that didn't work out. Next best physical contact manly man sport, wrestling. Wrestling was on Wednesday nights and Thursday nights, so we were cool. And we went into it. We had a good time. And the coach was like, "Oh yeah, you guys are some big boys. Yeah, we want you."
How was the culture? Like, what was the culture of the sport in wrestling?
Wrestling is big brotherly vibes. Like, at least amongst my team, it was okay. Everyone's kind of looking out for each other. We're all kind of, But there was a clique. I'm not gonna lie. There was a clique of a few people in there that were kind of, we've been doing this for 20 years. Like they, like semi-pro. Like they were good, and so they, they were above us, or they thought they were above us. So there was that. But in general, we were one team, and I really liked the atmosphere. I made some good friends.
What about with opponents?
So opponents was very similar. I mean, we had to compose ourselves, or else, teams lose points for acting up. You get benched for, being, like, not too aggressive, I don't want to say, but just being, like, nasty about something, or going off on someone, because it happens. Sometimes you're rolling around on the mat, and, he caught me with his elbow or something, and some dudes would get pissed off at the opponent. They're, yelling and screaming and going off, and flag, bench, get out of here, done. But in general, it was because you have to shake hands when you start a wrestling match. It's all right. I'm gonna shake your hand. We're gonna get going here, and I me, I'm a fun guy, so I try to have fun with it. And then I was known for this one thing though. I thought it was pretty crazy. I didn't know I was doing it until someone told me I was doing it. I was I'd get really, like, not aggressive, but I get, when I'm, like, stuck in a full Nelson or something like that. Someone's got me tangled up, and I'm on the ground, and I'm really working for energy to get out of it. Apparently, I would start to, like, grunt and just, like, really just... I had no idea I was doing it until some guy was like, whoa, hey. And apparently it would freak people out so I'd be able to get out, you know. But it was so cool. I had no idea I was doing it until someone told me.
Yeah.
And
Dude, it's like a mind game.
yeah, low key. A lot of it is playing with your mind. There's a lot of misdirection too, you know.
Oh man, dude. Speaking of like fighting and wrestling and all that, the McGregor fight last night.
Oh,
man, so many good fights led up to that, and then this guy broke his leg.
It was what, like, not even 2 minutes, was it?
Yeah, it was. No, I think the round was almost over.
Ah,
I think it was, or they might have started the second round, or I forget what it was. But it was near the end, because we watched the first round for a decent amount.
True.
Yeah.
It was rough, though. Ugh. They kept doing the playbacks.
We were in the bar, and everyone's like, oh!
So I love doing it in the crowd, man. Everybody's there, and it's like, oh, no.
Because when they were, I think, we talked about it. It's like, he was kicking a lot. He was kicking a lot during the fight. Yeah. And I think like when they do that weakens your leg.
Wear and tear.
It probably weakens the bone.
Yeah. And you think about it, he's been practicing those moves. So he's been whacking the what are those, punching bags, or, you know, for months. And probably his whole life. He's been a boxer for a minute, you know. So
Fighter.
Fighter. Yeah, so
was he a boxer? No.
I don't think so. I don't know.
Yeah, okay.
Right. Fighter. But
maybe.
Still, that's crazy though, man.
I know, man. His leg, and he was still. I saw videos. He was still talking shit.
Yeah.
Like when he was getting pulled out, he got pulled out by a stretcher, and he was still like talking all this shit. And I was like, oh my gosh, this guy.
I don't know about you, man, but if my leg snapped like that, I'd be screaming and crying. Even the adrenaline, it would wear off real quick. I'd be done. I don't know about you. How do you think you would react in that scenario?
I don't know. I feel like it depends on how I would feel. Like, because if my leg, I see that my leg is like dangling. It's like, But I think those guys build, I think guys like us, it's like we're normal, normal people, whatever.
Yeah.
But those guys, I think, build a tolerance to pain.
Oh, that one guy with the green hair definitely built a tolerance for pain.
Yes. Oh my God, what was his name? That guy, the fight before, he was literally, like, what did they say? He got like 200 hits to the head.
Yes.
And he kept going.
He kept going. He had no regard to the head. That's just insane.
Boom, 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 boom. Like, you're watching his head shake, and he just kept moving forward.
Ugh.
That's why it's like, if I was ever in a fight with someone and I'm like punching them in the face and they just keep coming towards me, that's scary.
Yeah.
That's scary.
It's a mind game.
Yeah, it is. It is. But he ended up taking the L anyway because it was the ref stopped it. Yeah, the ref stopped it.
Got his ass beat.
What a guy. Hopefully we don't get our ass beat.
No. Should be good.
No way. So, yeah. You're good at wrestling. I want to start combat sport. Yeah, I think I want to start a combat sport.
Do it, man. Do it.
I think I told you boxing. Yeah, I want to start boxing.
Yeah. I'd give it a try. I thought about doing like MMA or something like that, but this stuff's intense, man.
It is. It's pricey too.
Yeah,
it's pricey.
That's the thing.
You're gonna pay like anywhere from $100 to $200 a month
for proper training. Nah.
Yeah.
It's like I'll go to.
But that's the thing, like, yeah. But that's the thing. If you really want to train and you want to like get the skills.
Yeah.
You pay the money, right?
Yeah. It's like paying to go to guitar lessons or something like that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But it's just like, I feel like the market for personal training and all that is inflated. Like the amount of time that I spend with the trainer, you spend an hour with them, right? And I'm paying, $200 a month to spend, maybe 3 days out of the week for an hour. So that's 3 days out of the week, 4-day week. That's 12 days, 12 hours. So for 12 hours, I'm paying $200. So let's work this out. Hold on, I gotta pull up the calculator.
That's actually not bad. I think it's more than that.
Yeah.
I think it's more than that. Yeah.
So let's go. What did I say? 12 hours.
Yeah, I think those guys get like $40 an hour.
Ooh.
Let's see.
Like
that's how much they charge.
Oh, per hour. Well, I'm talking like big gyms,
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So 12 by 200. What are we looking at? That's 2,400. I mean, these guys could be making some money. They could be making some money.
Yeah. So the average cost of MMA and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu gyms are anywhere from $50 a month upwards of $200 a month.
Yeah. I went to this one around the corner. They were $200. I was just like, ugh.
200.
I just did the free trial. I had a free trial for like 2 weeks, and I was like, yes, sounds good. The training was great. I enjoyed it. The workout, it was a nice burn. But then they couldn't work with me, man. They couldn't work with me on the price. I asked them, I was like, hey, man, you got any student discounts? Any, like, company discounts? Any military discounts? Hey, man, just what can we do? They got me down to, like, 150, and I was like, that's $50 off, but still, that's $150 a month. And if I'm going to do this year round, man.
I mean, you gotta. I think of it this way, right? You spend What do you spend $150 a month on now, right?
Alcohol.
It's like, yeah. So, I mean, it's one of those things that I guess it depends on what you're into, right?
Yeah.
If you're into that, and it's like that's something that you do, and it's like you like it and you enjoy it, you go, you build a community around it, you're building these skills, whatever. Yeah. It might be worth $150. It might be worth $200. It might be worth $500 to some people.
It's what you find value in.
Yeah, it depends on like what you value. Like as an example, you like going out right now. You enjoy like your car, right? So like all these things that I like. What do I like? I don't even know what I like anymore.
Oh no.
I don't even know what I spend my. I don't even know what I spend my money on. I spend my money on food. Really, that's it. Food.
Food's a big one. For me, sometimes like I'll spend some money on some food and just like, dang, yo, that was a $20 burger. What?
Was it good though?
It was good, but like,
oh no!
I got burgers in the fridge at home, man.
Exactly, yo. I'm telling you, man. Go get some Costco burgers. Yes. Throw those things on the grill. Like they're just as good, man. They're just as good. You know what I was thinking about doing? You know how I make ribs? You haven't tried my ribs because of your religion, which cool, whatever.
Yeah.
But I was thinking like. Man, I was thinking about like making ribs or like burgers or something and like putting it, because my street that I'm on is pretty busy. Mm-hmm. I was thinking about like putting, putting like burgers or like ribs or like something like that and like starting to sell that stuff.
Bro, put up your little stand. Hey, on a good summer's day, yeah. You roll up,
people might be out there.
Smoker out there,
Exactly. Just my grill, not my smoker, but I'll have it out. I'll be like, oh, you want a double, you want a single, and then, ribs I would have to pre-make because they take like 4 hours. But dude, that'd be a nice little side hustle. Get some cash.
Yeah. Pop a tent.
Maybe I'll do it. Pop a tent. Make it official, right? Yeah, the tent makes things official.
Throw a tent up. Get your signs going.
Oh, man.
Get your website set up for you, bro. I got you. We do this.
That's right. A little Google Maps,
Yeah. A little Shopify. Yeah. You want to start shipping?
We call it honestly, shipping.
Bro, that's shipping money though. Drop shipping or just starting online companies in general. There's some money to be found. I met some very interesting people. Was it Friday night at the bar? They're starting this company. Oh, man, what was it? They're starting something, I want to say it was crypto, and they were looking for some engineers, some developers, and I was like, hey, here's my number, here's my LinkedIn. Let's be friends.
Are they trying to create another currency, or what are they trying to do?
I think they were starting their currency. I don't remember the exact specifics, but I gave them a phone number. That's another thing. I love networking, man.
It's fun.
Networking.
It's fun. You never know who you're going to meet.
You meet so many interesting people. And I think here, especially, I've met so many software developers and engineers that are, like, really involved in cool projects. And it's been interesting. Like, the people you see downtown, they're either, like, one of two. They're either engineers that are just, partiers and ready to get out, or they're, like, the artsy-fartsy people, to put it plainly. The artsy-fartsy. I met those two spectrums of people every time downtown. Every time.
And what do you enjoy more? Who do you like hanging out with more?
So I'll hang with the artsy-fartsy people. They'll tell me my what are those things? My
horoscope.
My horoscope, all that stuff, and it'll be great. We'll hang. But then I'll hang with a software developer downtown, and he'll break down his product to me, and like he'll show me some of his code. I've literally sat at a bar and this dude has showed me some of his code, and we problem solved together for a second. And
wow,
I'm telling you, it is just so cool to.
You should charge for that.
I know.
You should charge for that.
Consulting, come on, man.
You're like, by the way, you owe me a drink.
Yeah, at least one, or the Venmo, whatever works.
Yeah,
but
awesome.
I don't know. I've had some good times.
Cool.
Cool.
So, episode 4 in the books. Chris, it's been a pleasure.
As always.
Please, those that are listening, thank you for listening. Like, subscribe, follow our podcast, and we'll see you guys next time.
All right.
Be easy.
Peace.